Hey everybody, thank you for coming back to Jensmeramecvalleyhome, where today we're going to do a couple of different things. And what I have for you is I have a new Instapot, and also remember this that we started about 2 weeks ago, I guess it was. 2 weeks ago, the Plantain Salve. So we're going to do a couple of things today, and we're going to show you the various ways of doing this Instapot. The Instapot that I have is it's a lot like a lot of the other Instapots, but it is called a Duo Nova Instapot, where it's kind of like the best of both worlds in Instapots. So from what I'm told, and from what I have researched, so we're going to do that. I'm just going to show you the basics of it. I know a lot of people have Instapots nowadays, but some people don't. You know, like me. I've never used an Instapot before. I had my slow cooker and I was just fine with that, but my daughter actually has this one and she wanted me to try it out for her, and we'll see how that goes. So we're gonna follow some directions. We're gonna see how it goes, and hopefully, keep our fingers crossed, we're going to make sure it works correctly. So just hang in there, be right back. Okay, so here's my Instapot. This is the Duo Nova Instant Pot. It comes with little cooking timetables for various vegetables and meats, legumes, potatoes, and different things like that. So it just gives you general information, very general information on how long to cook those. It also comes with a neat little manual, your Instapot Duo Nova multi-use pressure cooker Instapot. So basically that's what we're working with today. And let me just put that there. All right, so we've got our lid here. This right here is our steam release valve, and that basically comes on and off. Okay. Then we've got our float valve, which is this little piece right here. And this is our quick release button. That's if you need to release steam. The handle is quite nifty too, because I didn't realize it would do this, but when you take the lid off, you can just use these little fins here. They're just like that, and you can put your lid on there and it just sits there. Okay. Of course, you've got your inside of your pot, which looks like that. Inside is just your steam release valve right there, and then this is your little float valve right here. See, I'm flipping it back and forth, and this actually comes off if you want to clean around that. This one actually needs to be wiped off a little more. There we go. All right, so that's basically the upper parts of the top of the lid and the bottom of the lid. Very simple. And then we've got the inner part of the pot, and we've got our cooking base, which is right here. You've got, I showed you the fins, the cooking handle, and the there is a condensation rim that back here. where condensation can run out of. So that is there. We have our outer pot, which is this. This is kind of a cast iron pot right here that goes around. And then take that back out of here. And you got your heating element down in there. Okay. So far, so good. Here is our control panel. And then we've got our power socket here. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to run a test on this. What you're going to do is take 2 cups of water and put it in here, which I have right here. So I'm going to add my 2 cups. All right, so now we're going to put the lid on and make sure it locks. So on the lid here, and it's on the top, right here you've got your close and your open. You can see an arrow right there. There is an arrow on this pot. You may not be able to see it very well, but it's going to be right in the front here. It says, it's got a little arrow, shows a little lock, and then this one has got a little arrow over here and it shows an unlock. So we're going to put the lid on. There we go. And it's locked. Let's plug it in. Makes a little beeping noise, just like that. Scoot it back a little bit here. So it makes a noise. So if we need to try that again, we can do that. Makes a noise when you take the lid off as well. So we're just going to put that back on. And there you go. It's all locked. Locked and ready to go. So what we're going to do is we're going to set this to pressure cook for 5 minutes. And what we're going to try to make it do is boil. We want it to boil so that we know that this Instant Pot is working correctly. So the little light just went out. So that's telling me it's ready. Okay. Let's make sure it's good. There we go. All right, and I forgot to show you one other thing, so we're going to take that back off. This right here is the seal. The seal does come out for washing. It just tucks up underneath this ring here. If you can see that, it's just a little ring. It'll come out of there and you can wash it, which I suggest you do after each time that you use it. Okay. Now, we'll get it on there here. It was going off pretty, there we go. Okay, so there it went. All right. Now, what we're going to do, our little vent release is in the it's in the seal position, so that's ready to go. And all we're going to do is we're going to hit so everything's locked in, and right here is where it says pressure cook. we're going to hit that. And see these little plus and minuses? We're going to hit this for about 5 minutes. So we're going to take it up to 5 minutes where we want it. And you have other little buttons on here too, like that are just like a microwave. You've got soup, you have meat or stew, chili or beans, poultry. You can use as a slow cooker, rice. Oops, I went right past it there. That's not where I wanted it. Okay, so let's just, well, it says 4 and it's on high, so let's try that and let's see what it does. Okay. And then as soon as it starts, see it's telling me that it's starting. So as soon as it starts, because it does take a little bit for it to build the steam inside the pot, just like a regular pressure cooker. You know, you may have seen an old-fashioned pressure cooker. They take a bit of time. But other than that, we'll come back here in just a minute. Okay, so what's going to happen is it's on now. You can see it says on. The little float valve back here is going to rise as the cooker pressurizes. And then once pressurized, the cooking begins and it'll display a change from on, and then it'll start the cooking countdown, which I put it on for 5. Well, it actually said to put it on there for 5 minutes. So when the smart program completes, it'll switch from on, or the countdown rather, to keep warm or end. So at that point, we're going to press our quick release button down until it clicks into a vent position, and the pressurized steam will release through the top of the steam release valve. And then the float valve will drop when the pressure has been fully released. So at that point, we'll be able to open the lid. So right now, it's just building some steam. It's on the on position like it's supposed to be. It's basically preheating, and this is really all we can do until it does what it's supposed to do. So hang with me and we'll be right back. Okay, so it has switched to the countdown now. You can see the steam coming out of the top, and it is doing exactly what it's supposed to be doing. See, it's counting down. So we're at 4 minutes right now. So it looks like it's going to work. So we're just going to let it run through the rest of the process, and then we will bring you back and we'll do some more with this. We'll follow the rest of the directions and we'll see if it's working properly. Okay, so, all right, now you can hear that this is done. You can hear the little beeping noise on it. And the float valve back here, the little tiny silver valve, it has pushed up, and that means that, you know, it had built up pressure on the inside of it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to hit the quick press release. As you can see, it's going to let out some steam. We're going to make sure that the steam is all escaped from the inside of the pot before we try to open it. You never want to try to open a pressurized pot because it will explode if all the steam is not out of there. And I can see right now it's in the keep warm position. The light is on, which means that it's complete. And see all that steam is kind of just floated out of there. Okay, so I think so it's in the okay, so it is in the vent position, and we've let all the steam out of it, and our little float valve, the little silver valve, has went back down. So now it's really safe to go ahead and open your pot. There we go. So there we are. We've got boiled water all done. So it has basically went through the initial test run, the water test, and it's ready to use for cooking. So I'm going to be using this later for a recipe, and it's going to be a chicken recipe. So this is done. I'm going to set this over here for the moment. I'll let that kind of cool down. We're going to unplug it for now. We know it works, and I'm just going to let it cool down. So there you have it. You have your water test run for your Instant Pot, your Duo Nova multi-use pressure cooker. Now the next thing that we're going to be doing is our Plantain Salve. So we're going to get started on that. Stick with me. We'll be right back and we'll get that started. Okay, so now we are ready to make our salve here. And I only did a little bit, if you remember. I put in 1/4 of a cup of the plantain, chopped up plantain leaves, and 1/3 of a cup, or maybe a little bit more, of the olive oil just to cover it. Originally, it was supposed to go for about 10 days, but we went on vacation for 7 days, and so it's been probably closer to 2 weeks now. I have here my canning funnel, and I've got some cheesecloth here, and I've got my measuring cup, and I'm just going to pour that in there, pour the oil in there to catch the leaves, and basically let the oil run through, because the oil is what we want. We don't really want the leaves. The leaves were just to infuse the oil. So I got my little jar that I'm going to put the salve in, and I have my yellow beeswax pellets, which you can get these from Amazon, and I'll put a link to that in my description box. I've got my double boiler going. You're going to need the double boiler. So all I did was took a regular saucepan, a sauce pot, and I put another pan on top. So I've got some water, about 1.5 cups or 2 of water down in my saucepan, and I probably got a good 2 cups up here in the top pan, and I've got one of these rings sitting on the bottom because I don't want to put glass directly on the bottom. And I'm going to turn this down a little bit because I'm going to take the lid off of this. The odor is not that bad. We're going to sit the jar basically like that. And then I'm going to take about, 3 or 4 tablespoons. And I'm sorry, I'm getting way ahead of myself here. I need to get this out of here first. So let's do this. Let's pour a little spatula out here and get all the plantain leaves because it all has the oil in them. I don't want to waste that. All right. So what we're going to do, as you can see, it is dripping down in there. But we're going to kind of bundle this up and we're going to squeeze it out of there. Squeeze it and squeeze it. It's like you're wringing out a dishcloth or a washcloth, anything like that. And you just want to keep squeezing it until it's all out of there. Now this is not probably going to make a whole lot, but you don't need a whole lot for any, scrapes, cuts, bug bites. There's many other uses for it. And I think we're actually pretty much, it's all squeezed out of there. Actually, my hands feel pretty lovely right at the moment. I'm just going to step over here for a second. Give my hands a little rinse. And I'm going to get my other towel here and dry off my hands. Actually, it makes your hands feel amazing. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and just put my jar just like that. And now I'm going to add my beeswax. So there's 1, 2, and 3 tablespoons. And we're just going to let them slowly melt. This oil just feels great. Makes your hands feel lovely. So soft. Okay, so we're getting these to melt. I may have to turn this up just a little bit. It's kind of a slow process. So as you can see, I am just letting those little pellets just dissolve in there. And they're going to dissolve fairly slowly. So we will be back in just a minute when they're dissolved. Okay, so as you can see, the wax is almost melted. And I'm basically going to turn off the heat and let this coast the rest of the way. And then what's going to happen is I'm going to take it out and let it cool on the counter on a paper towel. And then I can seal it up with one of my, rings here, a ring, and my lid. And that will keep it nice and fresh. So this is going to finish melting. Like I said, I turned off my water, and it's just the last little bit of it. I will wipe the rim with some of the hot water and a paper towel just to get some of the wax off of there from when I was stirring it. And basically that's all there is to it. I personally, though, would, like I said, never put this glass jar into a pot like this right directly into the pot. Put a little lid, a ring or a seal in there, rather, and put that against that so that the jar doesn't break. Also, I did change jars while we were breaking because I wanted it to be in the jar that I was going to leave it in. So, and I took it out of my glass measuring cup. So I would not use the measuring cup, just go ahead and use your little glass jar to melt your wax in. Because the wax itself it's like any other wax. Once you've melted it on something, it's hard to get it off. So basically just put it in the jar that you're going to leave it in. All right, so there you are, there you have it. We did cover some ground today. I showed you the Duo Nova Instapot water test. You should do that with any Instapot that you get just to make sure that it's working correctly. Otherwise, you might want to take it back to the store for a refund and get a different one or try another one. Also, let me see here. It does come with this ring, which is for when you bake things, and also a little stand that you can put into your pressure cooker. So those are a few other items that come with that. As far as our Plantain Salve, it's wonderful. I would also be careful of your beeswax that you're using. This comes from, I live in Missouri. This is from Chesterfield, Missouri. I bought it off Amazon, but you got to be very wary because sometimes you get products from other countries and they're not very good. So you want to look for that. You want to use what you can find here in the States. So there we have it. That's all I have for you today. I'm glad you came by and was hanging out with me. I really enjoyed it. I can't wait to use my salve. I hope you make this salve and you try it because it's so useful for so many things. And, really, You can make gifts out of it for Christmas if you make a whole big batch of it. This is a pound. That'll go a long way. And I also got a pound of the plantain leaves. So I'm going to make some more of them, and I'm going to give them as gifts this Christmas. So you can too. And if you have any questions, I'll have all these recipes, all the directions in my description box. Please follow them directly. And if you have any questions, I have my Gmail in the description box as well. And as always, you know, and I enjoyed so much you being here with me today. Have a great day, and let not your heart be troubled.